All right, hey folks, we're gonna do some artwork this morning. Give me a second here to check my signal, make sure we're coming through okay. I'm gonna post some quick links here and then we'll get up and running. So just a hot moment here. It looks like I'm live. Just a hot moment. And looks like I have volume. That's also good. It looks like I've taken care of that there. I've got just a few social media posts to make, so I'm going to entertain you with my origin story while I click those buttons. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish them online, and I'm creating an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting using Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition 2024 rules. We began production of this adventure in before 2024 rules have been published, so there's a bit of a conversion process that we've been going through, but it's been very smooth. 2024 really is incredibly similar to 2014, just a little bit smoother, so I'm really happy with the system. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, an Eberron enthusiast since 2004, and I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since 2018. This is the first thing that I've made that is sort of an homage to the Eberron campaign setting as a whole. It's my default setting of choice for campaign homebrewing. Like running a world, I think Eberron's the best, and so I'm happy to be able to create something to give back to the campaign, to Keith, the community. If you think today's cool, you can like, subscribe. Hey, new subscribers! Thanks a lot, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. Here is a bunch of books I've already created on the DMsGuild. If I publish it, it's 100% free preview. You can read it from cover to cover. If you think my ideas are cool, consider purchasing to encourage similar behavior. Discord community, support me on Patreon if you want. Here's the full playlist of all 469 episodes. This book cover we created around episode 40, so once this publishes, this is how you'll see it on the rack on DMsGuild.com, and we are doing page art right now, so this is where we are at. I filled in some a base layer for just flat colors. We're using the Eberron map, so I'm taking just base, like the darkest base color there is what I use for it, because I typically use the dark colors at the base and then add light on top of it. That's what we're doing with the mountain range down here. This is what Ashspire Mountain, the Ashen Spires, thank you. Not relevant to this adventure, but it does lie between Ader and Bastion. So the four locations in the adventure that are important is Ader Academy, where the Eye of Mabar was stolen, Fort Bastion, where the characters are recruited as deputies to look at complaints from villagers, the Village Peace, where the complaints are coming from. People are missing, there's creatures in the forest. And then this is the hidden research facility where Mabar manifest zone can be created. That's been taken over by necromancers that are using Mabar to create undead and exotic materials for profit and power. So they're preying upon the village peace and straggler villagers or furriers and gatherers to kidnap them, to feed them to this ritual that they're using to create this undead portal. So it's been going on for a while. They don't know why people are missing. They ask Fort Bastion to help. Your characters arrive. Maybe you arrive too late, maybe you arrive on time. Both options are available to the DM to choose depending on what kind of adventure you're choosing to run, so, or what kind of adventure your team prefers to participate in. So we're going to finish up the mountains here, then we're going to start messing around with the forest. We have one forest, we have the forests here south of Ader, and then this is the Carnwood, and it goes to the coast. You can see the coast here in the corner. I'm thinking about keeping that, but I'm also thinking about shifting the map up. Like I could instead, and I don't know what the right decision on this is, but I could shift the map so it's like this. And while that technically doesn't hurt anything, but it severs the line that connects Bastion to Ader, and symbolically I like that idea. But this position on the map so that the coast is cut off, it doesn't seem valuable enough to me to modify the text in this space to accommodate it, or to change the resolution, the depth of the picture. I think this is the best solution, so I'm going to leave it like this. Although it was worth exploring. Let's dive back into here. Let's grab some dark color here for shadow, and we'll grab this for some highlight. I don't like that shape. You know what? Fudge it. I'm gonna leave that one be for now. There. Let's fix up all of this to the point where it's serviceable, and then we can drop back in and blend it all into one layer and just start doing some jazz. And we'll just start playing jazz. I'm gonna merge these all down into the same layer. We'll probably finish up the mountains today and start in on the forest. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to handle the forest, but that's kind of part of the fun, is figuring out how these things work along the way. Well, you know what? Honestly, while I say that, I'm not going to hold myself to it, because I mean, there's a decent chance that I'm going to hyperfixate on a particular component in these mountain ranges, and as a result, not get to working on the rest of the piece, and that is fine. We are here for the journey. Obviously, we want a final product, and publish that so that we can. Because when I finish one project, then I start another one. We have multiple projects that we've been designing on different streams that are still in the wing, waiting space and time for me to fully develop out into a new serviceable project. So hey Fox, it's good to see you, my guy. So here's the map that we're working on. Adventure background, basically talking about the Eye of Abar, which is the artifact that's stolen from Ader Academy. The necromancers that stole it found this forgotten dungeon. Basically, it was a research facility for necromantic activities that was shut down because of dangerous practices. It got basically mothballed and forgotten. But the necromancers, were military intelligence and field officers during the last war in Karnath. So they got access. So depending on your rank, you'd have access to the different military secrets of Karnath, and one of them was that Ader developed this research facility to learn about how to control or manipulate a manifest zone to Mabar to make easy undead. And the necromancers thought, hey, that's a great idea. Why did we ever stop that? Now that the war is over, we should exploit that idea. So that's where that's coming from. Unfortunately, the ritual needed to be able to create these undead. It creates a manifest zone to the plane of Mabar, which is the plane of undeath. Basically like a mix between, it's like a mix between Gehenna and the plane of negative energy. It's where all the Yugoloth daemons and undead come from, like a nasty batch. So great plane of existence. Let's create a permanent door that opens between the two worlds so that we can siphon necrotic energy from the plane directly to create abominations. That's the ritual that they're attempting right now, and it's going to take human sacrifice. So they hired a bunch of mercenaries to protect the facility while this got up and running, but their plan was to make undead and then kill off the mercenaries as they swapped guards, as it were, and feed the ritual to completion. But when they found out that there's these little villages that are starting to crop up along the Carnwood from displaced soldiers and refugees that are trying to restart their lives and get into farming, hey, great, undocumented villages, people that might want to stay underneath the radar, what perfect victims. So they victimized them. They would kidnap people, take them to the facility, sacrifice them as part of the ritual. And now that there's people missing, it's like, hey, where'd Frank go? I don't know. Well, Frank's missing. So the village sends people off 100 miles to Fort Bastion. Is like, hey, people are disappearing from our village. And so Fort Bastion, not to be bothered with the plights of undocumented field workers, is they send out your characters as deputies to, you know, to pay lip service and explore the thing. And if there's anything that's going on here, have a badge. You have the authority to ask questions, kick down doors, and resolve problems, but report back to us what's going on. So your characters have badges that give you the authority to go and ask and do anything in the name of looking for these missing villagers. So when you get to the village, either the village is upset or the village is dead from undead. So if they get killed by undead, then it's easy just to follow the undead tracks back to the manifest zone and feed into the adventure that way. If the village is still alive, then they become a community resource and a touch point for social interactions during the encounter. So you have friendly people to retreat back to when you take rests. Otherwise, the cultists, the mercenaries that are protecting the manifest zone, just think they're just an off-the-books black operation by the military that didn't want to have any paperwork going along with messing around with necromancy. The mercenaries that they hired were decommissioned at the end of the war because they specialized in wrangling undead. So they're really well qualified to be able to make sure undead menaces don't get out of hand, which is what the cultists want, until the menace gets out of hand, in which case they can all just go because they didn't want to end up paying them anyway. You get in there, you have the potential opportunity to win over the mercenaries if you can convince them, yeah, this thing is going dark. They're like, well, that's not the reputation that we want. We certainly don't want to get arrested. We're trying to do lawful mercenary work here. So if you do well, they'll help you shut down the situation. If you do so in convincing them, they'll recognize the merit but not see the they're concerned that you're not going to be able to resolve the job well enough to protect them from having their reputation damaged in the process. So they're going to play neutral and just put a blind eye to the characters, but don't give them reason to provoke so they don't have to have a conflict. And if they do horribly, then the mercenaries just assume that they're trouble and try to eliminate them. And so you have the option of winning over the village, winning over the mercenaries, and you even have a chance to negotiate and de-escalate what the necromancers are doing. If you can convince them that this isn't going to work out the way that they thought they would surrender, you could potentially shut them down that way. So every one of the factions that are in the adventure, you could potentially negotiate with, or you can fight. Except for the villagers, you can find dead because there's undead in the village. Now they're all raised, so I guess technically you're fighting the villagers too. But that's okay. So that's the basic ideas that we're messing around with. Hey, what's up? It looks like we're both working on maps this morning. Awesome. Mine have less rituals. Right on. Well, mine have less toilets. So cheers to that, my man. That's the lay of the land. That's what we're doing. That's the narrative value of this map, because it starts here talking about Ader Academy and the eye that was stolen from the Ader archives, and that you end up flowing across the map to here's the trouble point, and along the way your characters pick up and go to the trouble. So it's zooming in on the relevant region, and we're sampling from the actual Eberron map to make sure that the things that we're doing are recognizable to anyone that's a fan of Eberron. You know Karnath, this is going to look correct to you, but we're just providing the technical information that we need for this adventure to function properly at the regional, at this large scale level, because it's all a very small 20 miles some odd area that the adventure actually takes place in. Bastion's 100 miles away. Ader Academy is another 130 miles away. So like this is a 230 mile span that we're looking at here, but the adventure actually starts with you showing up in the village piece. So all of this is just basically background information. There's alternate plot hooks that can lead you into the adventure. And so being able to look at the bigger picture, quote unquote, of the region that we're operating inside of as a whole, I think helps frame that context for the players, especially if you're dropping this into an ongoing campaign. What's up? That matters. My players notice when the maps don't align. Exactly. Exactly. It's just, it's the little things, man. It really is. It's the little things that make shit great. Wrong layer. I got your number. All right, let's do that. Let's smudge that into place. I keep trying to work on the macro when I'm supposed to be working on this hill here right now. There. Let's work on this and build that out. Let's see. How am I doing this? Let's grab this over here and drop in this lowland. Like that. I can just fill all that in around this mountain, make it stand out in contrast to the background, but also to create a frame of reference for me to then pull down here to make this little J hook that we use so that you can have the 3/4 overhead perspective and still accurately depict the topography of the mountain, even though we're not doing a two-dimensional topographic like elevation lines sort of map. You can imply its the space that it occupies in the world by using this little J hook technique here. So that's like the actual top of the mountain is like here. Like this is the actual top right here, and the rest of the stuff that we're doing is kind of like curving around it. So you can see we have this J hook here that represents how the mountain, the mountain's not, I mean, a mountain can be a razor's edge, but for the most part, it's like a pimple. It's like, here's some razor edge looking parts of the mountain range here, but then here's the more pimply lumps here. You can see some razor edge stuff over here, and more pimply bumps for the hills. So here's more of a razor's edge that's being formed here, and pimple lump. So by understanding what topography, like where I'm at in the three-dimensional space that I'm trying to depict, I can better illustrate the land masses around me. I think that was kind of a word pie. Sorry about that. I don't script any of this. I just talk off the cuff, you know. So sometimes I word stupid. That's on me. Sometimes I just word stupid. See, I keep spilling out from where I'm supposed to be working down here, and I keep spilling into this area up here. The muse is, she's like, I know you have a plan, but this is what we're actually doing. I'm like, okay, gal, we're just gonna do where you. I don't control the pixels anyway. I'm just a passenger here, and I have these ideas about what's gonna happen next. You know, and like, nope, that is decidedly what didn't happen next. This is what you're doing instead, buddy. And I like that. I like that I'm not really in control of what's happening here. It's it scratches my itch to service divinity in a non D&D is a cult sort of way. Because I'm supposed to, let's see, let's go back up to our reference map. I can take the reference map there. Yep. So you can see here, like, hills come out to like around here. Around here. That's about where the hill is. Okay, great. So that means I just need to add in some more hill space over here. Hill space, not to be confused with hell space. Hell space is what you call Tartarus. In my default D&D cosmology world, I use the Eberron campaign setting, but I'm a big fan of the big wheel theory of the outer planes. I love the Abyss and the Nine Hells and Gehenna and, you know, Isgard and all that stuff. I love the big wheel cosmology, or Great Wheel, the Great Wheel cosmology. But Eberron has its own cosmology of 13 planes of existence that composite different philosophies and energies and stuff. And to me, like, for example, me saying that Mabar is like a combination of the plane of negative energy and Gehenna, where Yugoloths are from, is in my version of Eberron very literal, because the different planes of existence are mixtures of you take the normal cosmology of D&D, of the Great Wheel and the inner plane, the sphere of the inner planes, where all the elements are separated in their own worlds, including positive and negative energy as part of that elemental energy array. And you take different planes and you combine them together, and that's where the 13 planes of Eberron came from. You have the world of Eberron that was created by the great dragons, and the great dragons pulled energy and magic from the Great Wheel and the inner planes to create the 13 planes of existence that they wanted to use to enshroud Eberron inside of their own power and philosophy. So the idea that Mabar is literally a mixture of the plane of negative energy and Gehenna means that it's basically a transition zone from Eberron into Gehenna, or into the plane of negative energy, depending on whether you turn left or right at Albuquerque. So most of the planes are like that, like Rizia, the plane of eternal fire. That is very much just a plane, a connect plane to the plane of elemental fire. And I think it has. I haven't honestly thought about what outer plane it would connect to, but it could just connect to Limbo. Limbo in the plane of fire. There you go. Let's see. There's the I can't remember the name offhand, but it's the Battleground, which would be like a mix of Isgard and the Abyss. So both chaotic energies, but the philosophies of why combat are different between the two of them. But it can blend together to make, you know, these different interesting planar energy effects. So that's how I square that circle, because I'm a huge Spelljammer enthusiast. I'm a massive Planescape fan, but I like Eberron as my campaign setting because I like the way that Eberron, the world is built, the challenges that are in it, the history of it. It's got a lot of really cool built-in details that is just super easy to incorporate into a broad scope campaign. Eberron serves that really well. And so I've had to figure out, how am I going to, if I love the Great Wheel, how do I keep the Great Wheel and still operate inside Eberron? I could just ignore the 13 planes of Eberron and go with the Great Wheel, you know, lock, stock, and barrel. But they introduced that cool language about those, about their unique planes. Keeping them in my campaign world felt fun, because it added an additional depth of intrigue and exploration for the characters or the players to understand how the world ticks. Like, I don't shove lore down my team's throat. When I build a campaign, I ask them, what kind of a world do you want to do? What kind of a theme do you want? and we'll build the world around that. And it's just that 9 times out of 10, when I build that world, I can conveniently fit it into a aspect of what already exists inside of Eberron. It's like, if the things that you want to do are already built into something I'm familiar with, I'm just going to default to that thing that I'm familiar with, because it lessens my the bandwidth that I need to sustain to make the world go. Like, all those default assumptions are already baked into what I know about playing, and now all I have to do is just look at how does what I know modify what they're currently trying to do. And that, to me, that's the benefit of being familiar with a consistent world, whether it's homebrewed, out of the box, or whatever. Planting the flag in some sort of a world space or philosophy simplifies that and kind of adds a bit of a signature to who you are as a DM. So I'm adding these lumps in because these lumps are eventually going to become these lowland hills like we have over here. So I'm just making little lump discs right now where the topography is going to shift into place. Don't think I want to do more with these at the moment. This is apparently satisfying the muse. She wanted me to put placeholders in. So, darling, this one's for you. There. And yeah, that fits the general shape of the Ashen Spires that are on the actual Eberron map. So we're hitting the marks, man. Where we're at. Once I drop this down all into the same single layer, I can manipulate it a little bit differently and then mess around with the topography. I'll make these things blend together a little bit better. But the forest won't have that same sort of problem. Constructing the forest is going to be a different process than what we're doing here with these mountains. So, okay, great. She let go. She's satisfied with where it's at right now. Thanks me for my service and returns me to my own assumptions about what's supposed to be happening in life. And that's gonna be fun to sweep in. Here, and let's just keep building. So I stream 9 times per week, Monday through Friday in the mornings. I stream artwork like this. Since the Eberron book is the next book that I plan to publish, I focus most of my attention on this, both here on screen and off when I'm not around here, and I have production time at home, off camera as well. And I'm typically either working on the same illustration or a different illustration. Like last night, I resolved the forest and did some more mountain details in here just to keep pushing this ball down the field. And yeah. Anyway. Yammer pie. I'm going to apparently stop talking here for a second. Let's take some of this and then drop it in. Actually, let's do this. Add in some groundwork. Yeah, Monday through Friday in the morning, I do artwork like this. Tuesdays and Fridays during my lunchtime here in the Pacific Northwest, I'll jump on and do game design work for about an hour because it's lunchtime. And then on Mondays and Thursday nights, including tonight, I have an extended design session where I work on whatever book is grabbing my attention or ideas that I want to mess around with. And tonight will be no different. I think we're going to continue working on the cleric subclasses from 2014, translating them into the 2024 color mana system. When we last left off, we were contemplating the Death Domain cleric subclass, because that subclass has a lot of focus in the School of Necromancy, and in the color mana system there is no School of Necromancy. There is only 5 colors: white, blue, black, red, and green. And so black, although black is decidedly the energy of necromancy, it's not the exclusive energy of death. Green and white both play into death. So for me to cookie cutter what's in the player's handbook 2014 to make the death domain be about like black mana, that's not accurate. It's a shallow interpretation of the color pie. And I want to add more depth to that concept. So I'm currently, when we left off, I was whinging on how are we supposed to convert this to feel more like a death domain, and I think we've got some ideas and answers to resolve that puzzle that we'll pick up on tonight, and we're gonna start that probably maybe around 5:30. Typically, I'll say like 5:30, but then I'll end up at 6. So I'm going to probably drop in somewhere between 5:30 and 6 tonight and start that work. And man, I'm looking forward to doing it. Very much love the color mana system. It is my pride and joy to have produced it and to continue to develop it. And that I'm excited about evolving it for 2014, for 2024 from 2014. Because all the systems that I design, I actively use in my games. Like most of the books that I've published are the result of I want to run a D&D game like this, but the mechanics don't exist. I need to make those mechanics to make this game run. Oh, look at that. These rules work great. Let's make it a book. and thus here we are. So it's all for me, my world is all just slid together very, very succinctly. Very elegant progression. Me evolving from being a DM and a light illustrator into making books that I can paint myself. Very proud of this path that I've been led through in life. It's exciting. Makes me feel very fulfilled. Very loved. Like this sweep here, this is too big. I need to break this up. So I have to. That's kind of cool. I like that. Go through here like that. There we go. That's too, yeah, that's too much of a, it's still too big. Let's break that frame. Paint over it like that so we can reset the base. I am very much looking forward to the new season of Rick and Morty coming out. I am a big Rick and Morty enthusiast. And season 8 drops later on this month. So they parse them out one episode at a time, of course, because they're bitches, but that is okay. Every season of Rick and Morty spurs me to watch old episodes of Rick and Morty. But I don't have any TV time, really. It's a conundrum. Like the only time I really watch, I'll watch a little bit of TV on Tuesday and Wednesday night, and then Friday night's typically movies. Saturday night is either movies or binging a TV show, and then Sunday is my day away from the internet, and I will binge the hell out of a show. It keeps me culturally relevant. I binged The Pit last weekend. That's a hell of a good show. I kind of hope there aren't more seasons of The Pit. Like it's like as a single season contained episode, I would be perfectly happy if it was just one season. If they make more seasons and can maintain the level of quality that they demonstrated in the first season, I am all for more. But you better keep building some good shit. The Pit, for those that don't know, it's on Max. It's 14 episodes, and it follows one shift in an ER room, an emergency trauma room in Philadelphia. No, Pittsburgh. The Pit. It's like the shift starts at 8 a.m. and no, it starts at 7 a.m. and goes till and ends at 9. And each episode is 1 hour. It's an hour-long show. And each episode is 1 hour in the ER. The people that come in, how they're resolving the problems, complications that arise, and all the bullshit of having to go through being in the hospital at all. It's all built together. It's a cool show. The characters are all really cool. The diversity of shit they have to deal with it keeps anything from being stale. Incredibly high paced. There's a lot of people with like PTSD issues. It's cool. It's a cool show. Highly recommend. Probably one of the best shows I've seen. I'd say it's equal to or better in quality to The Outer Range. I'd say the quality of the show is equal to 1923. If you've seen 1923, that's some pretty high praise. 1923 is a hellaciously good TV show. It was only it was a one and done TV show, but it was part of the Yellowstone series. Yellowstone has like 5 seasons, I think, and then 1953 has 2 seasons now, and 1883 had just the 1 season. But they're all about the family in Yellowstone. This just depends on which, timeline, which generation we're looking at. I'm struggling with this front piece. That's interesting. I like this this razor line that we're brewing up here, but I don't like how it's curving into the rest of the mountain. So I think what I'm going to do is chop it down with the edge of my hand. and then we'll rebuild. I'll start a new layer. So I'm going to be okay with this because I legit like this razor. That's really cool. So I want to keep that, but I need to backfill it with pimples. And I don't have enough structure, groundwork in place for me to know how those pimples should be properly sitting in this space. And that's where my gears are grinding. I can at least I like the first part of solving a problem is to have a problem and then identify that you're in that problem. Like these are like super basic steps, but seriously, like people think they have a problem and they don't. Like that's your first point of assessment. Is there actually a problem here? And is it my problem? Like those are the first two steps in solving problems. Like is this my battle in the first place? And I think if people in general slowed down enough to ask that question first, we'd probably have a lot less escalation in our world. Like this is actually not my problem. I'm going to trust the people that it is the problem, that they're going to solve that problem the way that they need to. And if it becomes my problem, keep an eye out for that. And that is the second step of evaluating, has this become my problem? See, I'm back in the mid-ground again. God, my muse just loves to play. Oh, God, that looks really fucking cool, though. All right, the dash likes. She keeps pulling me back into this front bit here. Oh, well. It is what it is. She knows what she's doing. That's the thing about muses. They don't exist in normal time space, so they see the finished product. They're just using sort of Nintendo power guide to lead us to where they can already see. No, turn left here. There's a trap up ahead. Look out for that. That's the sort of conversations I have with my muse. Ah, I love that edge. That looks so fun. My chair is squeaky. I can't find the fucking Allen wrenches that you used to build the chair, but I need them because I think the screws are loose. So I might have to go to the depot to pick up just a set of Allen wrenches, because none of the Allen wrenches I have are fitting. The ones I can find don't fit. Let's look at our map. So far, so good. Nope. Hold on. Yeah. We're doing good here. Just gonna pad this out so it flattens out. That's more word pie. Let's flatten up this terrain so that I can rebuild it with different assumptions. There. I got your number. feels, I like that. That feels good. All right, so I'm going to add on a new layer so that we can approach this space as a separate, as its own thing. Really happy with that so far. This is a little big. I think I need to break this into two separate mountains. Like that. Yeah, because that was just one sheet. It was just too, it was too much. That feels better. All right, cool. So now we can merge that down. Actually start creating. Let's see. Let's grab our highlight here and let's just do this. Use our J-hook, sweep this in. I can see that I'm using the contour of this ridge line here that's spilling out over here to form this pimple lump. I think I'm okay with that. I gotta come up with a better term other than pimple. Pimples and razors, man. I sound like a child in trouble. Working the problem. Here we go. And then let's grab this dark here so we can. I know what my problem is. I'm using the wrong brush. I should be using my chisel, and I haven't been. If I was using my chisel, this would have been a lot easier. I was using a circle the whole time. That is the wrong tool to use, sir. Chisel tool. You make mountains with chisels, man. Instantly better. There's something about using the right tool, man. Immediately better results. Like that. There we go. Just like that, just magics into existence. Let's pop another layer. Grab some more highlight here. Let's drop that in here like that. And here like this. Have a separate layer here so I can have this blend over the mountains that we just made so we don't interrupt their structure while adding in this new one, so they end up piling on top of each other the way that, you know, mountains do. And we add in the shadow here, and the mountain just starts to sculpt itself. Thank you, Timely Timer. What time is it anyway? 7:18. I've got 40 minutes. I can probably solve this within 40 minutes. Ooh, fun. I love sculpting these things, man. They're so cool. I can drop probably another mountain in this gap here, but I'm going to save that for another layer. Run this down here. Hell yeah. Alright, I'm about ready to start another layer here to preserve this. Yeah, because I like that. I like that a lot. Let's come in over here. That's too big. That feels like too big of a plane there. I mean, I know that's my fault because I just did it, but I was trying to drop that ridge in. It just doesn't, the ridge doesn't make sense there. I need to flatten it out. Ridges and valleys, y'all. Ridges and valleys. There. That feels better. New layer. Drop the topography in here for little hills, just little footprints. Good. And let's grab another footprint over here. And some footprint over here. Like that. foothill sort of footprint thing here. I'm being hit with some sort of weird wave of terror. Like there's like a pulpation. I don't know if that's a word. There's that fear like you're being hunted. I don't know if you've ever felt that fear before yourself, but there's something bubbling out of me that is reminiscent of being prey, and I do not like that feeling. That's old energy. That was awesome. Look at that. Holy shit, that was a great fade. Wow, that was sick. Okay, there's all that. Let's add in a new layer. Let's grab some better highlight here to make those lumpy hills stand out a little bit better. I want to be careful about not introducing too much of a highlight at these lowland areas, because the higher contrast is for higher elevation. I think here's like, I feel like I need to put a little peak in there, but otherwise I think I'm pretty happy with this terrain. So let's see about adding in one more piece. Let's put our footprint in here like this. Respecting our neighbors. Right. Easy enough. fade this into the existing terrain so it becomes a neighbor. Drop that in there so it curves out. Nope, that's not right. Let's throw that away. Let's build, let's try again. Let's try again. We have the occasional mishap here, no hurt. Oh, cool. I like that. That's turning out nicely. I see it now. I like it. There we go. There we go. That feels really good. I like that. I like that a lot. Cool. All right. Nice. I really like that. I really like how we found these mountains. I'm really proud of them. I love finding cool topography. It just makes me want to delve into those places, you know? That might be too radical of that's too much of a ridge. It doesn't fold properly with the rest of the environment, so I'm gonna have to change it. Let's first resolve this hill here. to the environment. There we go. Now we're gonna have to come back through. We're gonna have to overlay this and fix how this is sitting. So let's expand the footprint here. So we can respect our neighbors. I really need to corrode that down. There we go. That should be good. Reference. Perfect. Okay, cool. So then let's add in yet another layer. Peek in here. Drop that in here like that. There it is. Nice. Details here, just make those rocks pop a little bit. Feels better. It doesn't feel complete. Let's see if I can blend that down into here. Curve that out to break that ridge up a little bit. Ridges and valleys. There we go. That feels better. I don't know if it's done though. Muse doesn't feel like she's content with it yet. It's certainly better though. There's a lot of large surfaces here that that probably need to be broken up. So let's add another footprint here. Respect our neighbors. $20 minutes left. Maybe we'll get this done today. I'll probably no. I have to work on Mega Dungeons tonight. So we'll work on the Colorman cleric subclasses tonight. But off screen, I need to work on Mega Dungeon. So I stay ahead of the player characters. They're delving underground. Always got to stay ahead of the team. This feels better. already. Grab some of this, blend that in. Okay, those are some decent looking mountains. So let's be bold, like an American. Take all of it. Duplicate the group. Merge. Now the entire thing I can just carve away like that. It's all a single layer now, so I can come back in and start blending it with itself. Oh yeah, I want another hour on this for sure. But I really, it's Thursday. I feel like I want to. I feel like I want to work on the forest tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know what we'll do. We're probably gonna end up working on this a little bit tonight, just to break up my headspace. Keep working it. There. I find that I fall into more fits of silence when I'm working on environment and terrain than I do like characters and objects. I don't know. It's more of the zen space of working on environments and landscapes. It's such a 0 point for me that I just kind of fall into it and get quiet. It's very meditational for me, but not necessarily entertaining content. I don't know. It's my apology for being non-engaging, you know? I don't think anyone's really complaining. It's just something I become aware occasionally that I'm quiet. I'm like, I'm being very quiet, and that seems, I don't know. It's a vibe. really, really good. This is an example of a painting that you just eventually give up on. It'll never be finished. Like there's no level of depth that I can get to that will be like, I don't need more detail. Like these mountain ranges, details, like detail pieces like this, they are infinitely hungry for more attention. God damn, it feels so good. The artist of me just wants to just delve into the details, all the intricacies, and just pour out pixels onto the space. The illustrator, the production illustrator in me wants me to declare an endpoint, because at some point, like, I don't need to make every detail intentional. I can have globs of paint occasionally filling up space just as color information on the page. And so there's two wolves inside of me. One craves efficiency, and the other one craves expression. And I don't know about feeding either one of them. I'm just gonna push pixels until they come to a conclusion themselves and inform me that I'm done. It's a button. I mean, there'll literally be like a little thing that just goes off that says you're done. Like, and I just push pixels until that little ping happens. You're done. And oh, I guess I'm done. Yeah, if you've been around long enough, you heard me say it. Like, I guess I'm done. It'll happen. But until then, I just get to whinge on details. Until the thing is willing to let me go, I'm basically just stuck making it as cool as I can. Not cool enough? Okay, how about that? Not cool enough yet? Okay, great. I'll add this. How about that? Is that... Oh, that's cool enough. Okay, cool. I'm done. Something like that. Yeah, like that. There. Break it up with a little rogue texture. There you go. So much to do. working our way through the largest space on, like, this is half, this is almost literally a half page that we're working on here. So I'm going from the largest amount of detail work, like the most intense pages, to the least intense pages, so that as I continue kicking through these things, I don't burn out, because the workload will become lighter and lighter the further I go. And I'll eventually just run out of pages. And when I run out of pages to do, I'm done. It's basic. That's kind of how these things work. You keep doing the pages until there's no more pages left, and then that's how you know you're done. I could say it again another way, but you know, Mojo Jojo. I would say I'm a Powerpuff Girls enthusiast. The original series, not the remake. But of all the Cartoon Network creations, I would say I don't necessarily say it's the best. Not necessarily the best show, but probably one of the most amusing shows I've seen on Cartoon Network is Megas XLR. That is it's about Jersey hot rod enthusiasts who inherit the most powerful mecha in the universe to fight evil, and they're absolutely just clowns. It's a very fun show. If you've not seen Megas XLR, that show is worth your time, at least looking at a little bit, because it just completely makes fun of the giant robot genre. Like, if you don't know Megas XLR, I will say one episode they fight Voltron, and in the they're actually trying to fight a world-destroying monster, and in the process, they get in the way of Voltron, and the Voltron team gets pissy about it. So the Megas XLR team, they get into a fight. Coop is the driver. Coop and Jamie. Jamie's basically a stoner sidekick that sits in the passenger seat and fiddles with the radio dial and snarks at shit, while Coop is the actual driver. So Coop gets into basically a pissing match with the Voltron Force while they're trying to fight this giant monster that's trying to destroy the world. And so Voltron gets uppity about it. So they get into a fight, and Coop ends up kicking the fuck out of Voltron. But during the course of this, they learn the power of cooperation, because the monster that's going to end the world is too powerful for either Megas or Voltron alone to defeat. So they have to work together, but they're arguing with each other. So not to spoil, sorry for the spoiler, but it's kind of the point. The spoiler alert here is that the way that Coop decides to cooperate is by tearing Voltron apart and putting on the different lions that compose what Voltron is as a suit of armor. So at one point, this like 50-foot giant robot is literally just shoving his foot up one of the lion's asses so he can wear the lion as a leg. And so he's like ramming his arm up inside the robot so that the robot becomes a giant gauntlet. It's hysterical. He's kicking the shit out of them, and then he's literally shoving his boot up their ass. It's so fucking funny. It is so funny. Megas XLR is it's just the best. It is the best at just making fun of the giant. It's like a mix of giant robot and chicks and hot rods. You know, it's oh god, it's such a funny show. So funny. I digress. But yeah, sticking his boot up Voltron's ass, literally shoving his boot up his ass. It's just, that is a precious moment. That is a precious TV moment. I do not think that they've gotten proper credit and respect for just how genius that show is. That feels good. Okay, great. So I mean, looking at the world in general, there. It's like that level of detail in those mountains. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think I can get away with that. It's just that you can zoom so fucking much in Photoshop, or even in just PDFs. But I think those are good. What time is it? Oh, it's 7:56. How about that? It's time for me to go. So I'm gonna go. I'll probably. I mean, let's be real. I'm probably gonna futz with these mountains just a little bit on the side, off screen. But when we come back tomorrow, we're gonna start working on forest. So there you go. That's it for today's, for this morning's session. I'm going to be back tonight, probably somewhere between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. I'd like to be on by 5:30. I don't know how that's going to pace out, but that's the intention. And then we'll play for a couple hours. We'll work on cleric subclasses, translating 2014 into 2024 using the Color Mana system, and then tomorrow when we're back on, we'll work on forest. All right, that's it for now, guys. Thanks a lot. I'm out of here. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate you. Like, subscribe, check out my books down below. Jump in my Discord community if you got questions about stuff or you just want to shoot the shit. I am hitting save. And I'm out. See you guys later. Like in 10 hours, less. Anyway.